arriving out from a World Cup event or Olympic event, or if I'm coming from a health problem in the city or a sewage problem. So don't ever in your life do the World Cup and the Olympics at the same time. You know, the other day I had a meeting with Sebastian Coe. He was the president, the chair of the organizing committee in London. And he remembered me saying, right after we won the bid, the Olympic bid, I went to London and Mr. Coe said to me, I mean, when you get the games, you become so popular, then your popularity goes down, deep down. When you're like 2 years from the games, you're gonna be feeling like, what the hell in the world have I done to get these games to my city? So this is the moment I'm living, going through. So I mean, it's great to be here. I really appreciate being invited by McKinsey to be speaking here. I want to welcome you all to Rio. I mean, the first point I want to make here, because Brazil, I'm going to speak about Rio, but I want to speak a little bit before about Brazil. If you look at Brazil like 3-4 years ago, 2 years ago, it was like everybody was so excited about Brazil. I mean, now the country of the future has really got it into its future. And now it's like, you know, these guys, they missed the opportunity. They're doing everything wrong now. So I would not go to the past, to do what we were saying about Brazil 2-3 years ago, and I would not accept what people are saying now. I mean, I think when you talk about a country like Brazil, especially when you talk about cities like Rio in a country like Brazil, what we need to do is let's compare Brazil with Brazil. Let's compare Rio with Rio. The country is much, much better than it was 20, 30 years ago. I mean, 30 years ago, we were not a democracy. Institutions were not as strong as they are today. 30 years ago, we had 40 million people more in poverty than what we have today. So the country has achieved a lot. And the same goes to the city of Rio. I mean, the same goes to probably São Paulo, but I want to speak about the best city, which is Rio. But the same comes to Rio. And I think one of the things, there were some kind words when I was presented here, but I think what we are doing here in Rio, and comparing always Rio to Rio, actually one of the reasons we won the Olympic Games, the Olympic bid, and we beat Chicago, I mean Obama's hometown, we beat Madrid and we beat Tokyo. Obviously now the guys from the IOC, they're going to go to Tokyo because they, after being a tropical country with all our warmth and being late for the games, they want to go to something that's already ready. It's being built in Tokyo. But when we built them, our greatest asset to win the bid was the problems that Rio used to face. 4 days to the World Cup, 26 months until the Olympics. So how do we see the games? How are we using these big events, especially the games? I mean, we see that as an opportunity. I mean, for us to make things that would not have been done if it was not for the Olympics or the games or these big events. There's a possibility of visibility to the city, to the country. I think Brazil missed that opportunity for the World Cup. I mean, the planning. We cannot never think about Olympic Games, World Cup as sport events. They are geopolitical decisions. I mean, if you look at only when they go to Europe or the US, I mean, they're just staying in the place they always are. But when they made the games in Korea, in Seoul, it was the time of Asian countries. When they did the games in Barcelona, it was the time where European Union showed that they could get a developing country inside of the European continent and, you know, make it be in the developed country. So, I mean, I think I see the Olympic Games, the decision of bringing the Olympic Games to Rio as a geopolitical decision. And what we are mostly doing, I mean, there are some commandments that we've been following since we got the games. I mean, first thing is the games must serve the city. We said invest in people and change the future of the country because of this great opportunity. And the two last things that we show here, optimize private investments and facilitate business, invest in city brand. It's the point I want to make here today. I mean, you are not going to believe, but in the history of the Olympic Games, we never had so much private money as Rio is bringing to the Games. I mean, this is our budget for the Olympic Games. First part, 7 billion reais, it's the organizing committee budget. It's completely private, 100% private money. And when we show these figures to Brazilian people, they just don't believe, especially because of the World Cup. But anyway, when we talk about this middle figure here, this middle number, 5.6 billion, we're talking about all the venues that we are building. So these are the figures for things that we would never build if it was not because of the Olympics. So it's 5.6 billion reais, and 75% of that, it's private money. I mean, for the first time in the Olympic Games, we're doing the Olympic Park with private money. The Olympic Village is completely private money. The golf course is private money. And I don't have to tell you that golf is not a very popular sport in Brazil. And this 24 billion reais budget, 43% of it, it's private. And we're talking here about legacy. I mean, we're talking about things that are going to be left to the city, that the games were a good excuse to get things done in this legacy perspective here. And how did we did that? How did we get that done? I mean, how did it work? Mainly with PPPs, mainly with concessions, but mainly with PPPs. So we have today what we call Marvelous Port, is the renovation of the port area. I mean, I don't know if there's anyone from Boston here, but I heard that in Boston it took like 15 years to get it ready. So in Rio, we're doing that in 5 years with only private money. It's a 7.6 billion reais PPP with an investment of 4.1 billion reais, only private money. As I said, the Olympic Park, it's a contract of 1.4 billion. Transolímpica, which is a BRT that we are building, it's also a contract of 1.6 billion of investment, but with 840 million reais. There's a light rail vehicle in central downtown Rio, with 1.2 billion. There's sanitation and waste management, all being done with private money. So what is the point I want to make here? I know that I don't have much minutes left. I mean, if Brazil is in its best economic shape, or if it is not in its best economic shape, the point I want to make is that it doesn't really matter. Why? Because we could get all this money because we are in a country, and especially we are in a city, that believes that the most important achievement of us all was that this country has become with strong institutions. So if the economic moment it's good, it's a perfect one, better. But if it is not, I mean, the institutions are strong, so the private investor can believe in what is going to be done here. So, and what we try to do in the city, and I think that's one of the main reasons we got things done, is that we build a strategic plan. We increased a lot our capability of investments, and doing that with responsible fiscal managing. And we tried something that's completely new for Brazil. I mean, we have 120,000 employees, and they all work with meritocracy. I mean, if they achieve their target, their goal, by the end of the year, they can get another salary or two more salaries. And let me say something here. You know that Brazil has got from Standard & Poor's a lower, that's a word, I think that's the right word to say, on its investment grade. For the first time in Standard & Poor's history, there is a subnational government, level of government has an investment grade bigger than the country. So the investment grade of the city of Rio, we have investment grade on Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch. So for the first time, our investment grade is higher than central government investment grades. So that made possible to the city to invest a lot, to bring private investment, and to get things done. So by the end of the day, the message I want to leave here is that there's a lot that can be done with private money. I mean, there's a bunch of issues and problems that we face in everyday life of cities that can be dealt with private money, with PPPs, as we're doing here. And I think there are some good examples in the city of Rio of private money being invested and giving solution and bringing solution, some original solutions to problems of the people. So thank you very much. I'm here open to the debate. Thank you very much.